First, the Supreme Court has declined to weigh in on whether former President Donald Trump can be prosecuted for alleged crimes committed while in the White House. Special counsel Jack Smith had urged the justices to bypass the lower appeals courts and fast-track the issue of presidential immunity. But the court delivered a one-sentence response to Smith, telling him his request is denied, at least for now. The former president praised the court's decision on social media. Let's bring in CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa and CBS News legal contributor and law school professor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, for us who are non-lawyers, break down what happened today.
What happened is that the Supreme Court said, Jack Smith, you don't get to leapfrog over the Court of Appeals. You have to wait for the Court of Appeals to hear oral arguments in this case as to whether or not Trump enjoys presidential immunity and cannot be prosecuted. And they're essentially saying, we'll wait until the Court of Appeals hears oral arguments on January 9th. They'll make a decision. And then, of course, they didn't say this, but they know this case is coming back to them. This isn't about what the Supreme Court ultimately will rule on presidential immunity. This is about when they're going to rule.
Okay, so Robert, I want to bring you in. Let's talk the politics of delay, right? It's not going to go immediately to the Supreme Court. Could this in any way jeopardize Jack Smith's March trial date for the case?
It could. And it's one of many factors that could jeopardize that March start that Jack Smith, the special counsel, has been planning on. The Supreme Court is set to hear cases from other January 6 defendants related to the different conduct on January 6, and the rulings on those cases and the charge of obstruction of a congressional proceeding could affect some of the timeline for how this all plays out. The Supreme Court is now front and center in so many of the decisions that come not just on the legal front, but the political front. And what's most notable is that this could lead to a collision politically and legally next year, just as the Republican presidential race ramps up.
Jessica, I want to bring you back in because Robert, I think, makes the ultimate point here. We've got the Supreme Court, and it's at the center of this election cycle. What are your predictions and what's the fallout?
The Supreme Court is exactly where it didn't want to be. Almost 23 years ago to the day the Supreme Court made that decision in Bush v. Gore, it hurt its legitimacy because they halted the counting of ballots in Florida, which was Vice President Al Gore's only path to victory. They don't want to be here again, and yet here they are. I think that's part of the reason why we see them not leapfrogging and taking this case, saying to Jack Smith, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait. They're going to have to weigh in on that big Colorado ballot access case that determines whether or not under Section 14, the former president is even eligible for the ballot. As we just discussed, they're going to have to weigh in on that federal obstruction charge, which is half of the charges. It's 2 of the 4 charges in this federal election interference case. They are part of this election now. They don't want to be here. And I think we're going to see them at every turn try and make decisions that make it look like they are a judicial body, not a political body.
Now, Robert, these indictments so far have not hurt former President Trump in the polls. Is it your view that if he loses at the Supreme Court on this immunity question, that it could help him or ultimately hurt him?
Well, it's evident that it hasn't hurt his front-running status in the race, but the polls have tightened, at least in New Hampshire in recent weeks. If you look at the CBS News poll over the past week, then there was a poll from St. Anselm College in New Hampshire that echoed what CBS News had in its own results. And so you're seeing former Ambassador Nikki Haley climbing in the polls. Trump retains his base. He has a lot of support. He's in a commanding lead in the polls in Iowa. And even if he's seen as, let's say the Supreme Court rules he's immune from prosecution, well, that could lead to a real question among Democrats of whether Trump's being held to account for his conduct on January 6th. That could lead to, even if he wins the nomination, a very motivated Democratic electorate.
Great point. Great point.
And if he is ruled that he's not immune, that could motivate his own supporters to say he's being prosecuted unfairly. But at the same time, if that prosecution moves forward, it's going to bring a lot of new evidence to light that we haven't seen before in reporting, in books, in committee hearings, because Jack Smith has subpoena power, as you know more than anyone. And he has things we haven't seen, like former Vice President Mike Pence's diary entries and eyewitness testimony from people inside the Oval Office. All that could be coming to the fore as the presidential race is entering its heated season.
It's really an extraordinary collision between the politics and the legal system. Robert Costa and Jessica Levinson, thank you both for your analysis.